Hello, my name is JamesCraddock and I am a story engineer. What I'd like to do here in this video is just kind of explain to you what I mean by a story engineer. As we have left the information age and are transitioning through what Daniel Pink has kind of coined the phrase of as the conceptual age, and are moving into a place where SEO and content marketing are starting to reach the height of their saturation, and the web is starting to kind of transform. Apple TV just came out with their new app, and the first app TV, and a lot of people are moving towards apps. I believe the biggest thing that is going to happen on an even greater scale than it already is that we are going to and are continuing to be moved along the lines of emerging into an emotional age. I call it the 4D age. And the best manifestation of emotion, the best way to interact with emotion and relate to emotion and to connect human beings at an emotional level is through story. And so what I have become is a story engineer. A few years ago I wrote a book called Kinetic Avatars, the 8 characters in your marketing message, which maps the marketing message to 8 typical archetypes of fictional characters within a fictional story. And this allows for the ability to tell a fictional story across the web, and in so doing get across a marketing message. And using technology and a number of strategies, we're able to very powerfully both network and monetize a 4-dimensional story across the web and social media through the technology and the ideas discussed in this book. And that's what 4D story is. But that's not the entire picture. See, story has power innate in its structure, not just in your story and my story and connecting those stories together, although right there is a huge opportunity for us to connect and do great things. But story itself has power. It has structure. You know, when we put a book together, I was afforded the opportunity to be a lead on this book, putting it together with international photographer and Afghanistan embed, Robert Cunningham. This is Afghanistan on the Bounce, and it was the content was written by New York Times bestselling author Steve Hartov. And working with these two, we put together the life of a United States Armed Forces person from the inside out, talking about just really what it is that they go through and how their regular life unfolds on a regular basis. But what we were doing there was we were leveraging the power of story. And the only way we could put this book together and have it be so successful is to take story and stay within its structure. But by doing that, we were able to represent the military in a way that the military wants to be represented, and in a way that we created a bridge. We're a liaison through this book from that military person far, far away to their family and friends here at home, so that their emotional connection could be made, so that what they were going through could be understood on the other side, and it created this kinship between them. If you haven't picked the book up, go to afgotb.com, check it out. Now, I've also created platforms for other books, platforms that developed the book in a way that caused the story to reach out and do more than was just innate to what the story was all about. Now, if you'll see down the page here, I've had several different projects that I've worked on, and across through the time, my experience, all the tools, technologies, my sales and marketing and merchandising experience at OEM distribution levels, retail levels, etc. This all comes into play. And it comes into play because as you're developing a product, a service, as you're wanting to find new niches, create new niches, as you're wanting to step out and try to be heard amongst the noise, the best way to do it is to leverage the power of story. And I don't, again, mean necessarily your story, my story, or even the story of our company or our products. I'm talking about the infrastructure power of story itself. And that is what I have put forth in my book. That's what I put forth in every venture that I go after, because I look at it and say, how can we leverage story to make this representation more powerful? How can we present this product in a more powerful way, knowing and understanding how story works and operates. See, story is a framework that represents truth. A good story, when it holds your attention and carries you through a theme and teaches you a lesson, it is a magnum of truth, meaning that there are no leaks. We never take you out of that story world. We don't, we've suspended your reality and we don't pop a hole in it in a good story. And a story can be represented by a model. So I've created several different models that allow us to map the human experience on a moment-by-moment basis. I call that the 7 arenas of human experience. I've created models such as kinetic avatars that allow us to map the marketing message to a fictional story so that the marketing message can be gotten across in a much more subtle way and in a more impactful way. I've created models that describe business. I've created models that take maybe I have one particular model that I took the formula for the theory of for lift, the lift formula, and taken it and applied it to distribution, applied it to several different business functions, and all that model is a story. It's the story of aerodynamics. It's the story of lift. It's the story that carries an airplane into the sky. A story is made up of parameters and laws and aspects that once you understand how to leverage them, sure, you can write an amazing novel. But what does an amazing novel do? It moves us into action. It causes us to emote. It connects with us on a level that we can't necessarily connect with in general terms. Story also has this power to allow us to network together in a more dynamic way. It even when the story of an individual is pulled together and laid out digitally in a format or through a model such as I've created with a variety of models, that story can now be compared to another person's story, and we can actually match people up and find networking synergies that before didn't exist. See, a story engineer takes the power of story in all its facets, from its foundation all the way to what it can produce, and we integrate that into whatever the application is, your business, your product, your service, even on a personal level. XL7LX.com, that's where my high-end empowerment program is represented. And underlying that is the 7 arenas of human experience, which you get a little taste of there. But it's also the power of story. And the power of story can set you free. Truth sets you free, right? And when you understand so innately who you are and where you're going and the purpose of that product along the lines of a story, then you have within your grasp this foundation and this model, this prism, this path, if you will, that has defined parameters that you won't get out of the lines on. And it really makes you very efficient. It makes your entire process very efficient as you go out into the marketplace. So story has lots of implication, lots of application. And as you look down below, I'm going to kind of go through each one of these and give you the story behind each of these applications of what we've done and how story was applied. And through that, I hope that you will recognize how we are taking story and leveraging it and using it so that through all the so much technology comes our way. So many changes and advances are being made on a daily basis that the truth is, if you don't know your story and you don't know how to leverage your story and you don't have tools in place to make that story pay off for you, then almost, if you will, that story gets in the way. That's where we're coming to. That's the apex of the next generation, if you will, of what's going to happen across social platforms, across the web, across our interactivity, geopolitically even, if you will. And so I would ask that you recognize me through what I represent here and my publications. You, of course, can go to JamesCraddock.me, or you are here, look at the top, and look at some of the things that I have documented along this line. And let's get together and let's find out how a story can bridge wherever you are to where you want to go, whether it's through whether it's a product that you want to take onto the market, whether it's a new service or expand your existing service, or just find out who you are on the inside and where that can take you. Because I'm all about helping people become the legends they were born to be. That's the tagline for my empowerment course. And 4D story, that's the ability to put a fictional story across the internet and leverage it for marketing purposes and to monetize and everything else. And when you take all these components and put them together, what you end up with is a powerful approach that has the integrity that has been proven to perpetuate ideas and stir emotion for thousands and thousands of years. Join me on this journey, will you? 4D story, time to perform. That's my tagline there, because that's what time it is. It's time to get at your story and make it work for you. All right. If you want to get a hold of me, if you want to connect with me, all you have to do is utilize the link down below, and that is going to, or go to JamesCraddock.me and utilize the link on that page. That'll give you an interface to at least begin telling me your story, and then we'll get together and find out how we can apply it to a successful end. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. Continue down the page. I will give you a little insight on each of these projects just to let you know how we've applied story in the past, and trust that you and I will get a chance to meet. My name is James Craddock, and again, thank you so much for allowing me to be the story engineer in your life.